This property has been an orphanage, a poorhouse. During times of like influenza, a lot of children died here anyway in the orphanage. The church was built, added on, and then now it's the art center.
It's a landmark church. The congregation and the people who are the leaders of the church needed to move. They just kind of outgrew the space. And fortunately, some business leaders and community leaders came in and decided to turn it into a center for the arts. But that in itself is kind of why people speculate some things began to change, because it was no longer a church, and whatever the powers that be or the spirits that be apparently didn't like some of what was going on. It was no longer a church service-oriented place. We were showing movies. There were dance concerts. We have lots of concerts in here, some world-renowned acts. And oddly enough, strange things began to happen. There was a caretaker, someone responsible, as most churches or older buildings have, is somebody that stays on site. Maybe they live on the premises or something like that, the janitor type. And that this individual was very strict about faith and what was proper by his belief system. He has been seen up in the areas, up in the balcony here, and he has been heard. And it is his presence that we think we may have experienced back in the crying room.
Into the basement. This is where I've had all of my experiences. Yeah, buddy. A chair. Denise also separately actually was sitting here looking out and saw the little girl in that room.
An actual visual?
She actually thought she saw an actual girl. I only felt her. Let me go back. I did my first EVP session here ever back here in this room, which has been reorganized since, and it's got a lot more crap in here, but my flashlight was on that bench and it was actually knocked off the bench. How's it never Shawnee? Remember I told you I was talking to the little girl Sally, and I gave her the message to give to them through the shack hack?
Yeah.
I was sitting right on this bench when I did it. And we saw a number of shadow people over there while we were here doing EVP work. And see that bunny doll?
Yes, I do.
I gave that, remember I said I gave her a doll? That's the doll I gave her from upstairs. And when I did, I came back down and I actually felt her, like I felt cold something wrap around my waist, like she was giving me a hug. And that was the end of the night. I was down here by myself. I had come down and I'm like, okay, bye. And that's when I exited. So that is the basement. This is where we'll be hunting for the evening. I'm not really feeling energy in this room right now.
Like it was over here.
I felt it back in the hall. Nope.
We went out the back exit here, and I parked my car in the front. And that's where we went through the system check to make sure that we had everything off. And that's the last light we turned off. And we walked out the door. Linda and her son Peter lived next door over here. I said goodnight, and I walked around the side of the building to get to my car parked in the front. And as I opened the car door, just peripherally I saw a light. I thought, oh, we forgot a light. And I looked and I knew that that was where we had just exited. I knew we had just turned that light off. So my immediate focus was, how could we forget that? And then I looked down and there's something standing right there in the window, about the size of a child.
So there's 6 of us. We can go 3 and 3. Want the girls against the boys? You want to split it up?
Against the boys, yeah.
Downstairs. Let's go downstairs. We're all going downstairs. The downstairs is big enough.
So then you guys want to go to the back first? We're going to be right here for this one.
Matt, no pictures?
Do you need pictures?
You don't want to disturb the energy? Or you do want
Pictures are fine. When you're walking back through, have you been down there before? I got some chairs. Give a shout when you guys are all settled.
It was like 5 minutes. I just gotta remember how to get there.
Okay.
Watch your feet. I think we've got to be under the church.
Probably.
Yeah. Trying to figure out. All right, now we're getting hits off something, so let me just scope this room out here. Well, maybe it wasn't this. Nothing's lighting up. All right. Might have just been from moving it. All right, let's let this sit by itself.
Homer Art Center, Pam, Caroline, Tracy.
Okay, I'm gonna start snapping.
Okay. Hello?
Flash.
Is anyone here? We came back to visit you again. My name's Caroline. I have Pam and Tracy with me,
Hello. Hello.
and we just want to know if you're here. Is the little boy here, or is the little girl here?
Should have told us. We would have brought a ball or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a bunny rabbit in the other room. Obviously, somebody left.
Is there a story about a little boy, a child here?
How much do you want me to taint you?
Ooh, do tell.
There was a little boy, not sure what the age, I assume like around 8 years old. He was found hung.
This is about 100 years ago. I don't have the exact date, but it was in the house which is attached to the complex. Some believed that it was the caretaker, the janitor of the system at the time, but they could not prove it.
The community tried to pin it on the custodian that worked here, and they actually drove him out of town. So it was never proven. It's an unsolved murder as far as that goes.